wealth of knowledge. When I asked him to send me a bio, it ended up being 2 pages. So we're going to let you talk a little bit about yourself and give an idea of what's going on. In the middle is Dan Foster. He is with Verizon Wireless, specializing in the enterprise area and banking and finance industry, correct? And David's from Microsoft, and David and I have known each other a long time, and he is on the development evangelist team and does a lot on the enterprise strategy part. So what the format today is going to be rather simple. What we're going to do is, here are some of the topics. Yeah, guys are turning around because I didn't give it to them. No, I'm only kidding. And here's some of the topics that we're going to talk about. Each one is going to have a little bit of an idea of what's happening and give a little bit of their opinion on some of the things that are going on. So without further ado, Murray, you're up first.
Thank you, Steve. So what am I supposed to do here, Steve? Introduce myself?
Introduce yourself and start.
Pontificate, okay. So as Steve mentioned, my name is Maureen Margol, and I am the president and co-founder of the Wireless Technology Forum. It's a nonprofit here in Atlanta that we have over 650 members, about 7,000 on the mailing list. Our URL is wirelesstechnologyforum.org. We tried to find a longer URL, but there wasn't one available. We are commonly known as the WTF, but those of you who text with your teenagers, we were WTF before WTF, so I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I started the Wireless Technology Forum 5 years ago when I was working at Bell South in charge of Wi-Fi strategy and product development. And I saw the market moving to wireless and did everything in my career to get over to the wireless side. And since then, I've represented 3 different companies calling on the wireless carriers. So between the forum and calling on the carriers, that's where my expertise lies. And in addition, recently, about 6 months ago, I started my own consulting firm where I work with application developers and services companies to enter the carrier space or build out channels for them in the wireless space. And I have one other thing that I do. I put on executive seminars, webinars, and lunch and learns, etc. for BlackBerry productivity. So my thing is that everybody spends a lot of money deploying BlackBerry, deploying Android, deploying iPhones, Windows mobile devices, but people don't focus on the end user. How do I use this thing? And so my take on this is, where is the applications going? Where, what are some of the predictions for 2010? I think that we're in the perfect storm here. That, you look back on the PC days, originally it was enterprises that drove the PC business. They funded the PCs, put them on the desktop, but everybody was just doing Word and Excel. PowerPoint became a big deal. Microsoft drove that market, and it took years before you had applications that actually ran on a laptop that you could leave the office and dial back into the office. But we're seeing the same thing with the mobile device, that currently email is still the killer device, and there's very few businesses out there that are doing more than email on a B2B. Now, B2C, we're seeing a lot of traction. The iPhone really blew this open. I mean, Microsoft for years has had a tremendous app store that just wasn't marketed. Apple came along, put a new skin on it, and all of a sudden everybody's into applications now. It's being driven by the consumers instead of the businesses. And I think that we're having a point here where the networks are getting so fast, the devices, once you could buy a smartphone for $99, game over. Now, 40–50% of the subscribers out there carry around a smartphone. So you've got these super fast 3 and 4G networks and faster networks coming. You've got these devices that you can put in your hand for $99. You've got great tools for the IT department to manage them. You've got much better security than we've ever had. And then you've got now this talent, this wealth of application developers out there ready to develop applications. So I think that when you look at some of these business applications, most of them have 3% penetration. So the world is ahead of us as far as enabling businesses to maximize revenue or employee productivity with these devices. And the other thing is GPS. I think that location-based services, I always use the example that if you want to talk about the future, and I'm not picking on Delta Airlines, but if I pull this device out and I want to see if my flight is on time this afternoon, I've got to go to 15 clicks on this device. And I've got to sign in, I've got to click, click, click. That doesn't work when I'm driving 80 miles an hour down 85. And where we need to get, and the technology is here, is that's taking the PC world and putting it on a phone, and that's not what we want. What it should be is there's a little icon on here that says Delta. I click on it, it says, "Hi Maury, I see that you're on I-85, you're 30 minutes from the airport, your flight leaves in 10 minutes, do you want a seat on the next flight?" That's what I need. The technology is there, and that's where we're going.
Thank you. My name is Dan Foster. I used to be with NCR Professional Services in their finance group. I actually founded their internet banking practice. I went from there to the wireless industry. So I've been in the wireless industry over 10 years now. I used to work for a company that was a joint venture between Microsoft and Qualcomm named Wireless Knowledge. And then moved around up until I got into with Verizon Wireless. I've been with Verizon Wireless for about 8 years now. And the industry's changed quite a bit. When I went to go work for Verizon Wireless, we had a Thera. I'm not sure if anyone knows what a Thera is. It's the first Windows mobile device that we carried, along with a 555 air card from Sierra Wireless. So things have changed quite a bit. My responsibilities with Verizon Wireless is really to help our business corporations understand where they can apply data technologies to their business processes. So there's a number of accounts that I work with, like Bank of America or Aflac. And what we're trying to do is get them to more adopt wireless technologies in their business processes. And I'm actually a free consulting resource into those enterprises to try and do that. And it's been very, very successful in terms of we've seen a great adoption in a variety of different areas in the banking sector, specifically around private wealth management and broker services. In the mortgage industry as well. I also have a second job. I'm an elected official for the city of Suwanee. I was just re-elected to my next term. I had to put that in, didn't I? In terms of predictions, this is a very exciting year, 2010. This is where I predict that the nation's largest carrier will be the first large carrier in the world to launch 4G technology. Our Chief Technology Officer has announced that 1/3 of the population of the United States by the end of this year will have LTE services. And I've seen it. It's a very exciting technology. It will be a business enabler to take wireless to the next level. We also see it as a way as that last mile. It'll clearly replace the last mile. There's a number of other strategic incentives about LTE that I can't go into. I don't have the time. The other aspect is I agree with Maury that LBS, if you have an Android device or another different type of device from a company that calls its name by fruit, you'll see that LBS applications are a big hit on their marketplaces. So location-based services instead of calling it LBS. In addition to those applications, Maury's also correct that I think that today's application developers have to go to the next bar, and that is to make people's lives easier, more functional. There's one more prediction that is sneaking up. A couple of years ago, one of my customers came to us and said, "Hey, we've got people that carry a cell phone, a pager, and a laptop. Can't you help us out here?" And so I don't think anyone carries a pager anymore. Everyone's carrying mobile phones with SMS. But now we're going to see an integration between the laptop and the cellular phone. So that will be ushered in this year as well. With Qualcomm's new processor, the Snapdragon, you're going to start seeing